Hey, you made it. Come on in and join me. I'm Angela, and this is me making sense of myself. I'm super glad you're here. If you haven't done so yet, hit the subscribe button so you can follow the adventure as it unfolds. And if you love this podcast, share it with your friends. You have the capacity to understand yourself, and that's through connecting with and understanding other people. I'm going to share with you how I do it in my life. This week's topic was about finding peace when feeling miserable. In the first video, I talked about when I felt like I was feeling miserable. In the next video, I talked about a time when I shifted from feeling miserable to finding peace. And then I focused on a time when I knew I had peace. Then we meditated, and in this video that I lovingly call the Fridity or the Friday Ditty, I'm going to share with you a parable about this week's topic, which is finding peace when feeling miserable, along with explaining what happened inside of me. So, let's get to it. Once upon a time in a small village, there lived a farmer known for his patience and wisdom. One day he found a tiny butterfly struggling to break free from its cocoon. Feeling pity for the creature, he decided to help. He carefully snipped the cocoon, allowing the butterfly to emerge easily. However, as time passed, the butterfly's wings remained weak and frail, and it could not fly. Worried and confused, the farmer sought advice from the village elder. The elder explained that the struggle of breaking free from the cocoon was essential for the butterfly. It was during this struggle that the butterfly's wings gained strength and the fluid from its body was transferred into the wings, enabling it to fly. The farmer realized that in his attempt to ease the butterfly's struggle, he had unwittingly hindered its growth. Reflecting on this, he understood the importance of struggles in achieving true strength and resilience. Sometimes the most difficult experiences are essential for our growth and development. Embracing our struggles can lead to inner strength and newfound abilities. And being miserable is a struggle. And sometimes it just shows up. There are times, for instance, a few weeks ago, maybe it's been a few weeks, I had the flu. And there was nothing I could do about this miserable time as I'm coping with and dealing with the flu. So instead of using the mentality of, oh my gosh, this is horrible, I'm miserable, yes, I've done that. What I did this time was I went, well, I guess right now I'm supposed to be resting. That is what I'm remembering right this minute. I do want to point to that I am certain there were times when I had the flu where I was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm so miserable. It's part of the life experience, but I've also had a tremendous amount of practice because I have complex regional pain syndrome, and there's no telling which pain is going to come when. So if you look at all the different ways someone can feel pain, stabbing, burning, needles, deep aches, you name it, I feel it, and there's no guarantee as to when it's going to show up. So I don't get to plan on when I'm going to be in pain. And I think what's happened is that's given me practice in those moments when I think that the pain shouldn't exist, that then I get to embrace it because it makes surviving that pain and getting through that misery a little bit easier. So what I've learned is that I need to listen to my body and to what my body needs and go with that. And while it doesn't necessarily change the misery, it does make finding peace in the misery easier. So I think too, I've got a note here to talk about how plans change and how when plans change, that can also come with misery. And I think that, it really depends on where I'm looking to or how I think things should be going. I talked about, in one of the episodes, I talked about the poem I wrote called Pain, My Friend. And one of the realizations that I had, I want to say it was about a year after writing it, as I was talking to a friend of mine, was that, to be in pain can be hell when I think I should be something else. To have joy when I think I should be can be hell also, when I think I should be miserable. So I just wanted to point to that, because sometimes I think, at least for me, when I had that first experience of having joy during a struggle, I thought I was betraying the struggle. But the reality of it was, for me in that moment, it actually made the struggle more bearable. And I remember stopping and looking around thinking, ooh, I shouldn't be feeling good. Because then maybe that meant I didn't love the other people who were involved in the struggle, or that it was wrong that I had joy in that moment. And I don't think that's true. I think sometimes we need to find that joy, or we need to find that peace, especially when we're in the midst of that misery. And I think in some ways it's embracing, like, this is just what's happening right now. I have a thought here, a question I was thinking of earlier. Is there anything inherently wrong, excuse me, with the feeling of misery? I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with the feeling of misery. It's whether or not I make it so. So if I'm miserable, or I'm feeling miserable, and I decide there's something wrong with that, that actually makes it worse. So I think it's easier for me, to come up with the question for myself, what if just right now is miserable? And is that okay? Do I have to change it? Do I want to change it? Sure, most of the time I do. Excuse me, but I don't have to. So some of the ways that I've learned to find peace is to embrace the misery. To go, okay, you know what? This is part of what's happening right now. And with my pain, that actually helps alleviate it, because a lot of times when I start fighting with my pain, it gets worse and more intense. So if I can just embrace it or let it flow through me, it becomes a lot easier. I think the next thing is, letting things be as they are in this moment, which means I don't have to change anything. Again, it's not that I don't want to. It's that this is how it is. And if it's going to change, then I'm going to need to have my blinders off so I can see the possibilities, because it's in those possibilities that new and more creative ideas can come to mind. Another thing that helps me find peace is breathing and meditating, and doing this on a regular basis. On this show, I talk about how life is practice. It really is. When I practice finding my peace, I know how to get there. That's why we have those Thursday meditations. It's so that you can practice. What does it feel like to find peace? What does it feel like when I'm miserable? Is there a way to shift in that moment? Is accepting of the misery part of the process of shifting to finding peace? And how do I do that? Because you might do it slightly differently than I do. In fact, I hope you do, because you're a different human. Yet, maybe those steps are along the same, they're similar. So I'm going to acknowledge that finding peace can be hard. And again, it's, if I think it should be something else, so if I think I should be having peace right now, it's going to be a lot harder to find that peace than if I just lean into it and go, okay, well, this is what's happening. Now, I also want to talk about the pink elephant in the room. Notice how you are probably starting to fight thinking about it. But I want to point out that thinking about that pink elephant actually intensifies it and makes it bigger. So if you're in a situation where you're feeling miserable and you keep saying, oh, I need peace, I need peace, I need peace, it could actually intensify that misery. So I just want you to be aware that, excuse me, that sometimes we hurt ourselves, or we make the situation worse than it really is by deciding it should be something other than what it is. Now, some of the other things that, are helpful is really understanding, what do these feelings feel like in you, and how do you know? This is not something that we talk about regularly. I think they're starting to teach things like this in school, but it's also a very personal journey because, excuse me, misery for me might be a different sensation in my body than it is for you. And peace for me could be a different sensation than it is for you. So really, it comes down to asking yourself, what does this feel like? Do I have to do something to get there? And just knowing that these feelings are your own, and you get to decide how you're going to interpret them. The other thing I want to point out is that by having that emotional awareness and determining what emotional intelligence is for you and in your relationships, that will also give you some flexibility on how to deal with hard times, miserable times, peaceful times, all of those times, because this too shall pass. Things do not always continue forever, even our own identities. You are different today than you were yesterday. And just remember you've got resilience. You've made it through 100% of your struggles to date. If you're miserable right now, there will be peace again. Just go back and look at what you've done before. It came. So in closing, for those feeling miserable, I offer a hand, embracing the pain, revealing life's grand. Hope is the message, a beacon so bright. Relax into the misery and soon you'll take flight. Life's journey is a blend, a mix of all kinds, but peace can be found for the seeking minds. Like, share, and comment below to let me know what topics you'd like me to explore next. Remember to subscribe to Me Making Sense of Myself for weekly doses of inspiration and self-discovery. If you have a question, send it over. I'll answer it. Let's do this together. I'm Angela, and this is Me Making Sense of Myself.